I go to the rockpool at the slack of the tide to mind me what poetry's for. It has ventricles, just like us, pumping brine like bull's blood, a syrupy flow. It has theatre, hushed and plush. It has a little shop of horrors. It has its crossed and dotted monsters. It has its crossed-eyed beetling Lear. It has its billowing Monroe. I go to the rockpool at the slack of the tide to mind me what my poetry's for. For monks it has barnacles to sweep the broth as it flows, with fans grooming every cubic millimetre. It has its ebb, the easy heft of rack from rock, like plastered feverish locks of hair. It has its flood. It has its welling god, with puddled podgy cheeks and jaw. It has its holy hiccup, its minute silence. Daed-traa. I go to the rockpool at the slack of the tide to mind me what my poetry's for. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by, and the wheels kick and the wind's song and the white sails shaking, and a grey mist on the sea's face and a grey dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day, with the clouds flying by, and the flung spray and the blown spume and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way, where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and a quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick is over. The tide rises, and the tide falls. The twilight darkens, and the curlew calls. Along the sea sands, damp and brown, the traveller hastens towards the town. And the tide rises, the tide falls. Darkness settles on roofs and walls, but the sea in the darkness calls. The little waves with their soft white hands efface the footprints in the sands, and the tide rises, the tide falls. The morning breaks, the steed in their stalls stamp and neigh as the hostler calls. The day returns, but never more returns the traveller to the shore. The tide rises, the tide falls. Why does the sea moan evermore? Shut out from heaven it makes its moan. It frets against the boundary shore. All earth's full rivers cannot fill the sea that drinking thirsteth still. Sheer miracles of loveliness lie hid in its unlooked-on bed. Anemones, salt, passionless, blow flower-like, just enough alive to blow and multiply and thrive. Shells quaint with curve or spot or spike, encrusted live things Argus-eyed, all fair alike, yet all unlike, are born without a pang and die without a pang, and so pass by.